Hello, Warriors. Let's have a good week. Agree with you, Alexander. Thank you. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning to you. Let's have a good week. Hi, Brock. How are you, my trading warrior brother? Ren, Hugo, how's it going? Arena. Okay, let's take a look at the markets. So, big day in the dollar on Friday after the number. I'm doing pretty good, Brock. Don't want to give the last 2 weeks back. We have ECB this week. Um, Friday's action dollar was pretty negative. I'd like to see it just get it over with and take out the January low. Give me an 88 handle. If there is another move back up towards 91, I think it's going to be short lived. But I think we have another, maybe till the end of the month of risk on. And that includes the dollar washing out and the S&Ps melting up. Okay, so I think we have a couple of weeks left on that. Hello, Marco. And when I look at Friday's action, I'll go to the 15-minute chart, which is being affirmed by um, the action today. So here was the big pop after the NFP number, and you can see what Euro gave back before it tried to rally. The pound actually gave up more, but it was last night. Um, Aussie actually, I thought, had the best performance, hardly gave anything back. May have been enough with what we saw Friday in Aussie with this false breakdown for this to be the bottom for, to head up towards maybe 81 in the next 2, 3 weeks. I'll be looking, this is my preferred long this week. I'm not going to chase it, but I'd look for pullbacks back towards 77, 76.95, something like that to get long. Everyone with me so far? Okay. Um, so that includes we probably have another 3 weeks up in gold. I think you could buy it. I'm looking for 1960. Silver, I think we have another 3 weeks up left, and I think it's going to take us to the highs. If that works out, it could end up being a third drive up there. And so basically, what my narrative is for the rest of the month with the solstice coming up and just some cycles that are due is some type of high in the NASDAQ. I'm still looking for a third drive up here, maybe 14.3, 14.4. That's another 500 points or so. What's that? Another 3%. And maybe another 3% here, take us over 4,300. Again, we take out last week's lows, the picture changes on both of these, and that would delay the whole scenario. But the key is this: the dollar just washing out, getting it over with, maybe 140. I'm looking for about 88.60-ish, and so that's 148. That should be able to give us, near 124 up here, or just enough to clean out the stops over the high here, and maybe 143, 144 cable. And the big play is this. Also, I'm looking at the VIX down here. So I'll be looking to put on some type of VIX position in the low 14 range. Should that happen, we'll see. And that's about all I have to cover. Any questions on anything that I've talked about? I'd like to see us just get this dollar washout and risk off melt up completing um, before the end of June. Okay, so we have about 3 weeks left. So you could probably just on metals look to buy breaks and currencies look to buy breaks, and everything look to buy breaks, and then we'll switch to being short on rallies. That's my narrative for the rest of the month. Any questions? Everyone's got it? We have it all cased out? Okay, well, I think I'm gonna bring, Greg in. I
Uh,
think
uh,
Greg is on deck.
Good morning.
Oh, hi, Estelle.
Hey,
How are
hey,
you, buddy?
coach. Good morning. Let's have a
Good.
great week. I just got
Yeah,
my second shot actually a few
uh,
hours ago. So I'm
I heard.
yeah.
Well, I'm predicting you'll have no reaction.
Well, let's see. Whatever it is, it is.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Greg
Anyway,
in a few minutes. So I'll
okay,
take the screen now and I'll talk for a little bit. Then Greg is coming up, and then
okay,
we might get Steve afterwards if we have
okay.
time. So So we had the NFP last Friday. Obviously, it was a second disappointment in a row. The month before, it was a much bigger disappointment. But bottom line, for me at least, is that the Fed has not been pushed, let's say, to do something sooner rather than later. So this is something that the Fed's going to look at, and clearly there's no pressure now for them to react. And how we translate this reaction to the payrolls and all and everything is how everybody sees it. But I was going to mention we have Trader Summit where you can see so many people talk about the reaction after the non-farm payrolls, like Mark Chandler and Boris and Kathy and Jim Welsh and everything. So this is a really great place to go and have a look and see what other people think about payrolls and about everything, really. So but in my view, unfortunately nothing's changed yet. I keep saying that, and I think that this is the case. So what have we got? We have a weak dollar. We have risk remaining relatively well bid. I mean, we're pretty much at all-time highs. And if you look at the S&P, for example, I mean, look at this move that we've had since COVID, and there's barely any dip. And unfortunately, I don't see rates rising yet. Probably not for the rest of this year. And I don't mean the Fed hiking or anything. I just mean interest rates in general. Yields. They're trying to break out, or they're trying to go higher. But
Ease.
to,
Yeah,
sorry?
I'm looking for about 130 on the 10-year, buddy.
But maybe, and the 10-year, we had this big zone that we're talking about for ages, 130 to 150-ish. We broke above, but look, we're just trying to stay above. It looks like we might be, consolidating here for another push, maybe. But at the moment, I just don't see it. And if we don't get rates going higher, yields going higher, I really don't see how risk is going to go lower. I really don't. And I've said this before. And also, if we don't have yields going higher, I don't see how the dollar is going to spike. So for the moment, I
Good
think we're
point.
just in a holding pattern, exactly the same as we have been for weeks and weeks. And any dips in risk are probably going to get bought. We're just going to continue. And for the dollar, for the euro dollar, I'm still bearish. I've been talking about being bearish the Dixie since 100, and we're at 90 now, and I think we're going to go lower. The Dixie, actually, we're close to these lows here, so
Yeah,
no doubt we're going to test them. We might bounce off them. I mean, there might be a reaction, but I think it's inevitable. The way the way with the 4 trillion spending plan being approved, and Russia talking about they're gonna go out of the dollar and into the euro and whatever else. There's just pressure on the dollar from every side, and obviously monetary policy still remains highly accommodative. Um, Deficits are huge every year in the US, everywhere actually, but in the US, we're well over $1 trillion now per year. I just don't see what's going to change this. So um, I think we grind this way, and then when we do see a rise in yields, then I think then it's going to be a time when we're going to have a two-way price action in pretty much every FX pair, and things that we can actually trade, which has been a long time coming. The Bund is something that I have been looking at. You guys know, I was short. I covered as we got close. I didn't catch the lows, but as we got close to this zone here, I'm glad I covered because we seem to be bouncing a little bit, so yields are falling a little bit. Yields in general, I think, are ridiculous. I look at 10-year Greece, which is, I think, below 1% now. Which, if I had, as a retail trader, if I had a way to short this, I'd be shorting this with my eyes closed, but I can't. So, for me, the bottom line is we have to. I have to watch yields. When I see yields moving, then I'm gonna start taking positions in some currencies. Until then, I am gonna stick with my current positions, which is, everybody knows, metals and miners. And I'm long all those, and I was lucky that I got long at relatively good levels. So I got long GDX on this break and retest, which was fantastic. GDXJ as well. All this I've been long, and this is always going to be affected by yields and risk assets. If we get a risk-off move, these are going to suffer as well. But hopefully the dips are not going to be too severe. SIL is ready to break. The junior silver miners also. It's all feels on the precipice, and I don't see what's gonna bring support to the dollar, at least not in the short term. And that's why I remain quite happy about these trades. And that's why I stick with them. And now, in terms of gold and silver, again, we seem to have broken in gold. Silver is not as straightforward. Silver is still kind of consolidating in this wedgie thing, whatever you want to call it. But I think it's inevitable. So we're gonna see that break eventually. Again, my long-term view on oil, this has been a shocking move for me. I mean, after this crazy drop during COVID, which was basically a play on futures, we've had a massive rebound, and we're actually going, we're hitting almost $70, and we haven't seen this in over 2 years. So
we might be halfway there, Stelio.
Halfway there, yeah. Do you know what I was reading today? That calls, $100 calls on WTI with expiries not far away, like end of year expiries. They've been scooped up the last few days.
Of course, I have no doubt that once the whole market becomes very bullish, we're going to have
of course
a counter trend move.
Hey guys.
Hey Gregor.
Hey Gregor.
Hey, he's here.
What's up, mate?
How are you?
But good, mate. How have you been? But I do think, Stelio, that once we get at some point a deeper correction, I think there is probably a lot more upside in crude, as there is still also a big crowd that is fundamentally very, very bearish crude.
Yeah.
But I think that the timing is completely off by
I agree
many years.
I was going to say, I think oil eventually is going down, not to zero, but it's going to go, because the use of oil is going to drop massively. But this is like 50 years from now. It's not now.
Yeah. It's not a play for. It's not a play for today. If you want to fundamentally be bearish crude oil, because of that, I think you have a very wrong thesis.
You have to teach it to your kids, basically.
Yeah, something like that. Something. What do you think, Gregor? As a segue, what do you think about crude? I think we're getting probably the last leg higher as we speak before a proper corrective move lower. That's what I think to begin with. What do you think?
I'm going to stop sharing so you can take over if you want.
Yeah. Okay. So, like you said, I mean, we discussed last time about potential new high, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been looking either for a move higher to be wave 5 already, or maybe this is still part of a higher degree wave 4. And the reason, if you remember, we mentioned it could be because this first drop here in March was very quick, maybe too fast for this to label like an end of a wave 4. So that's why I'm still observing with one eye this interpretation, which actually could come in play, especially if we, let's say, see much lower prices by the end of the week. Keep in mind that if we look at the 4-hour price action and pay attention to this substructure from these March lows, you can actually still count 3 waves up. Right,
with C being in a 5-way.
Yes, and right now we are approaching this important fib zone. So I think that this week we could get some important price action to to let us know if we are on the right track for potential wave 4 to be more complex, which after all, I would not be surprised to unfold through summer. And
Speaking of which, the 6950 area is also the 88.6% fib from the October 2018 high to the low. I'm looking at the continuous, by the way, you know, so you know what instrument I'm looking at.
okay.
Yeah, also some horizontal support resistance area. If you go back to the chart, it was an area that had created like some choppiness previously. So yeah, I mean, this is an area of resistance we're currently testing.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I agree with both of you. Like you mentioned, you covered gold, you covered crude oil as well. I mean, trend is very clear here. I think that we will go much, much higher, but I just think that if we see a setback, like you said yourself, I mean, it could be a very nice opportunity, especially from an investment perspective, to look at some of those patterns. In fact, you also covered gold. I have miners here as well. And you can see that we are having a very nice break out of this downward channel. You are also Elliott Wave skilled. Very good. So, I mean,
very good. No, but
I'm not,
I have an okay understanding.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you can see this was a sharp rise. This was an overlapping decline. And if we also consider timing, I mean, you can see here, this was 100, this is daily 100 days. And here we made this correction almost 150 days, meaning 50% more, but it was much smaller move compared to the previous high.
Half of the move retraced in 1.5 times.
Exactly. So I think that's actually a perfect example of a correction against the previous impulse. We also came back to the former wave 4, and this reversal away from that resistance and through the from that support and through resistance actually suggests that we will see more upside, and meaning that even gold itself,
new highs on that GDX.
Yes. And I also think that this goes obviously very nicely with gold. We've been tracking this pullback for a while, and looking now at the weekly chart here, we made a very nice retracement for 38.2%. We also stopped at these March levels from last year, which was quite, as you know, very volatile timing. So I think that this was a perfect spot for a new reversal higher, and so far this looks like a ongoing continuation here.
Yeah, so far it's textbook, and of course new highs are implied in this case. Speaking of which, implied upside targets for potential fifth wave targets, Grega, in gold?
Here, okay.
Assuming that we've indeed seen the end of wave 4?
Yes, let me. Okay, so here I would be looking for the 61.8%. Okay, that's the first fib. And then we can also use this wave 4, which I would be looking for a 161.8% extension. So I would say this range up here, $2,300 maybe, that would be ideal upside projection for a wave 5 here. So overall, I just
no objection there. I'm fine with 2,300.
For a start, yeah, for a start.
For an appetizer.
If we look at silver here, this one also, I think it's looking very good. Either we are still consolidating here in a triangle, or
yeah,
I'm
of that. Yeah, I've started. You know, I've started believing it's a triangle. Actually, several days back, I'm tracking it as a triangle. Your second count.
Yeah, I mean, in either case, I just think that if we get the pullback, it could be very interesting to add to longs if someone is placed on the long side. In fact, last week, I believe I also shared this 4-hour chart in our chat room, and we've been identifying wave B up here and said that $27 is the first support. It was an incomplete free wave drop back then, and so far this was the first support that is already holding the gains. So maybe if we can rally above 28 in the next 24-48 hours, then I think that more upside it can be coming really fast here.
Looking at the longer term chart, where are we headed next after we break this consolidation? What would be the implied target?
I would be looking for this reversal back to these consolidations that we have seen here from 2012. You can see that there was a lot of noise, so I'm looking for a move into this region that's around $35 up to 37, maybe even 40. So that would be ideal upward projection. Even if that would be only wave C, that's something what you would be looking for, of course.
Yeah, but if it ends up being a wave 3, we're headed much higher.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everyone hopes for. But let's go step by step.
Indeed.
Yes. Okay.
See any possibility once 89.20 is taken out in the Dixie, Grega, for this to be a 5 and where it might terminate?
Here I'm looking for potential move towards 88 or 87.
Okay, thank you.
On dollar
another low, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we cannot rally much, as you can see.
No, it's more than clear, yes.
Always when we see some kind of a recovery, we are quickly back to the lows and we find the resistance. So I really think that this higher degree trend is what we should respect and be aware that this 2021 lows should be retested.
Speaking of which, 88.25 is a nice confluence of supports. It's the 50% fib from the May 2011 low to the highs. It's also previous lows that we found in the beginning of 2018.
Yeah.
So I think 88.25 is a nice first target once we break through this consolidation.
Yeah, I mean, everything goes in the scenario the dollar will stay weak, which goes with higher crude oil, higher gold as we speak. So also let's take a look on Aussie dollar. Now this one could be very interesting, let's say for the next few days. I'm looking at Aussie myself very closely. Now, firstly, here is daily chart. We are consolidating, right? And I've been talking about potential two scenario. Either this wave 4 will unfold as a triangle, or maybe even as a flat, because this first drop here was made by 3 waves and wave B was made by 3 waves. So either triangle or flat is what I've been looking for. But since we have this very nice bounce from Friday, I think that this triangle is a very nice scenario. So I think that this Aussie will stay trapped in this range, maybe even with some more upside in the near future for this wave D towards this resistance line. So I will not be looking at Aussie at the moment, Aussie dollar for potential trade, because that's still ongoing triangle, ongoing consolidation. But in the near future, as I said, it could see more upside, or at least the support has been retested and we will continue higher. So with that being said, I'm looking at the Euro Aussie. Okay, now Euro Aussie here has a very nice rally away from these March levels. And what I see here is a free wave movement, quite complex correction here that is now trying to turn to the downside, send prices back lower. Notice that we have at the same time when Aussie dollar now turn to the upside, we have quite nice and aggressive drop here on Euro Aussie. So if we can drop towards 1.5586, I think that pullbacks could be very interesting for potential shorts. Either we are going to see only an ABC drop towards the lower side of this channel, or maybe even an impulsive weakness that will take us much lower. So from a risk reward perspective, I think that this could be very interesting.
I 100% agree with you, and I think the same exact picture we have in the Euro Kiwi, with the only difference being that Euro Kiwi looks even weaker to me because, contrary to the Euro Aussie, it hasn't even managed last week to produce a higher high.
So it tells you that maybe New Zealand dollar actually
Yes.
could be even stronger.
Yes. So I think both of them are headed lower. Actually, I think all four of them are headed lower because I need to add to the list pound Aussie, pound Kiwi. But among all of them, I think Euro Kiwi looks even better position for a breakdown.
Also, as you know, I pay a lot of attention to candlesticks, and here we have this
outside black candle.
Yes, it's bearish reversal candlestick, and it's on a weekly scale, not on daily, so even more powerful. And something similar actually has been formed here back in February of last year, when we also were able to hold these lows afterwards, and we have been printing higher prices. So I'm looking now for this to be the same scenario in the opposite direction.
I also think that probably these corrections have run their course. I think we're very, very close to seeing the next leg lower.
Yeah, so I think that pullbacks here are worth to keep an eye on. Okay, what I have last.
What about since it's like the main pillar of almost everything that's trading? What about yields? That's, in my opinion, seem to be in some kind of a bullish consolidation. But what's your take on that? And respectively, of course, the first thing that gets affected is USD yen.
I mean, here it's really struggling. This market, there's so much noise about tapering. One day, yes, next day you will get a very bad data and no. So I think that this market will actually trade in consolidation here. It can still be a way for maybe even to retest these May levels here. I just don't see any bearish resumption to the downside just yet. But it's something that we should definitely have an eye on, because if suddenly we are going to see more weakness here, as you know, this will definitely have impact on other markets. But so far, as long as this market will stay consolidating, I think that trends on other markets will stay.
Although, to be honest, the move higher so far is, completely corrective in form.
But we just don't have this follow through yet to the downside.
Yeah.
Now, since you mentioned dollar yen, here I also think that we could be dealing with a triangle. Notice that this was a very sharp drop here back in April. Some would say that yes, could be end of a correction, but
the recovery though has not been impulsive.
Yes, I mean, this is definitely more corrective. So I came out with an idea that we could be here making a triangle. So 3 waves down for a wave A, you had a 3 waves up for a wave B, and now again, this looks like a minor intraday impulsive sell-off. Let me look at the hourly chart here to show the full picture. So you have waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're now in a wave 5. So I think that there is more weakness here in the near future, and we should be aware that maybe we will trade towards the lower side of this range that is in play for the last 2 or 3 months.
So more consolidation likely before we see a resumption higher in yields, which means more consolidation before likely getting a result with the upside in the USD yen.
Exactly. And until then, I think that gold has room to rally more, and stocks as well.
Yep. No objection.
How about just 3 weeks, Greg?
3 weeks?
No, nobody can make that prediction, Dale. I mean, it might as well be.
You've made predictions, so I'm making one. 3 weeks.
Okay. Yours.
Isn't that what we do? How about this? Tonight, it will be dark, turning lighter by morning.
I told you should have been a poet.
No, that's
you're wasting
George
yourself.
Not if you live in Scandinavia.
It's that's right.
Months of darkness. And
It will be dark for 4 months. Go back to sleep. Thank you, Wizard.
Yeah, thank
Some
you,
nice
guys.
looks.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Grega.
thanks,
Thank you
man.
for being here, mate.
You're a great way to come in and get everyone prepped and tuned up, and really appreciate you, coming in here while Blake was gone to step up. That's what teams do. You read a book about the NFL, there's a book called Next Man Up. So we're always ready to fill the hole. All right, so I have a great interview, guys. So you may want to stick around for it.
Who do we have today?
Karthik is going to be with us, and he happens to be the husband of Raksha Soni. So we all remember Raksha, right?
Of course.
So I mean, just think about. Look, I know a lot of people have a hard time just coexisting with their wives. Imagine being a trading team. Huh? What do you think? Could
Yep.
you and your wife trade together, Steve?
I very much doubt it.
Okay, Stell.
There's very few things
Huh?
you can do with lawyers.
Grega? Anybody here?
I'm not really sure if that would work out.
Grega has only experience working with nurses.
Yeah.
And he's not doing Elliott Wave. All right, so Karthik, welcome to Face. How are you? I'm going to ask you to unmute. I already did that. So, welcome, Karthik.
I'm good. Hi, Dale. How are you?
Hi, can you turn it up a little bit?
Okay, how is it now? Good to go?
Much better, much better. And and you could share the screen here in Zoom. It's that green button.
Right.
When we get to talking about the markets.
Right.
And you have a real high bar to meet now that I've told everyone that Raksha's your wife, and she's done a lot of tremendous interviews with great forecasts, and I know you're a team. You know what I'm interested in? Were you guys, or start with you, what's the genesis of your trading career? When did it start? Did you always know you wanted to trade?
Yes. I guess it's been since like 2007 when there's the stock called Reliance.
Okay.
And started with that and a career in Carvey, and from there being their analyst over there working. And after that, I don't know how it happened. I don't know all the other things, how it happened. I just remember the first day at Carvey. I think it was 2008, Jan 6th.
Okay. All right. So you were there for, the Great Recession, and you learned in bear markets. Were you married then to Raksha? Or how that?
No.
Huh?
No. I was married. I think. Okay. Now this is.
So we want to know two things: how you got into trading, and how you ended up with your best trade, marrying a woman like Raksha.
Okay. The trading part is like I was always been a trader.
Okay.
Then I got married to Raksha. She comes from a typical Marwadi business families in India.
Okay.
So, the moment I was just looking at the charts, she used to come and ask like, okay, what is this? What is this?
Yeah.
So, she was too curious. And
Okay.
she was also curious about the money which was being made.
Sure. What wife isn't? Huh? Huh? And so you were really her teacher.
Yeah, kind of. Fortunately or unfortunately, I am.
Okay, so you were her mentor. Well, how fortunate for her that she didn't have to scour through the internet. So, okay, enough of the backstory.
Okay.
I've seen some of your tweets and posts over the last few years, Karthik, and I've seen you nail some things. So, what are you seeing here in the Nifty?
As of now, I am purely bullish on Nifty, and I am not at all bearish. I'm just waiting for retest on this line. These are pitchfork lines.
Okay.
I'm expecting a fall to 34888.80, somewhere close to here or here, and then I'm expecting it to go all the way up.
Okay.
till here. This is some place where I'm looking Bank Nifty to go and touch close to 3,618. I mean 36,818.
Okay, and that's pushing it out. Is that it looks like the year so you think we have a couple of real bullish years ahead of us into 2023? Is that kind of what you're saying here? I mean, I agree. I think there's going to be a pretty good washout in between, but
Right.
there could be enough inflation in the system, or there's more
Correct.
coming, especially if we have a pullback. So you like the Nifty.
Mhm.
As our viewers could see, I know what the yellow dots are. I don't know what the white arrows is. Is that just drawing tools and
These are my tools which I've redesigned everything. I mean, like from the Andrews Pitchfork, and I've put a few levels of mine and try to kind of tweaked it a bit for which suits up my trading style. So these are those slopes, whatever you guys are actually seeing. These are mostly whenever I see a double test on anything, the market is testing it twice, I just enter the market, either for the short side or for the long side.
I got a question from Ronit,
Mhm.
one of your countrymen, although are you
Oh,
guys in
I
the
run
UK
it.
now? You know Ronit? Okay, with oil breaking out, do you think banks will do as well as gasoline? Indian petrol is shooting up.
Right.
It's all-time high in India. And will India bond yields in the 10-year break out and have higher yields because of what's happening in energy?
Right.
That's there's Ronit doesn't waste time. He injects 3 questions in one.
Okay.
So you're looking for higher yields because is inflation narrative alive and well in India? Karthik?
I am not much of like looking at the inflation part or
Yeah.
things over the fundamental side of it,
Yeah, you're a
because
technical guy.
right, because I personally, what I feel is the fuel prices are hiking up and all these things. They have a lot of a political game towards it, rather than being call it as a fundamental stuff, because even the banks or anything here, but I don't really want to go there and talk about it, though we know the inside story, what is happening here and in India, and why
Okay.
the prices are going up.
So basically, what you want to talk about is making money and not being controversial politically. Ronit, that's your last question today. So anyway, and Ronit's going to be with us Wednesday. So, it's India
Right.
week here on Face.
Well,
Anyway, so, okay, you're bullish that.
right.
He's saying, will the bank Nifty, do you
Right.
break up I gave him one more question. Will the bank Nifty outperform the Nifty? Do you watch the subsectors of the Nifty?
I do, but mostly my focus is very keen on Bank Nifty. I don't actually go into much other areas. I stick to gold, and
Okay.
but as of now, I mean, of some time, I'm just sticking to Bank Nifty. I feel that it's a kind of money. Money can be made good on this Bank Nifty, on this index.
Yeah, all you need is one.
Yeah.
I tell the story. Everyone thinks they have to be a portfolio trader, Karthik, and have like 20 different positions working. If when there were floor traders, there were guys that never left the same ring, and they
Right.
mastered one market.
Right.
How many markets would you say you trade? You probably monitor more, but how many would you say you actively trade?
Four.
4?
Right.
Okay.
4.
And you're a pro. So here you go. Here's a guy that's been doing it for quite some time, and he's only trading 4 markets. Do you find that, Karthik, if you started to expand that universe, you lose your sharpness and laser focus by just trying to observe too much?
I like to observe everything. I mean, like I'm
Okay.
even into DAX, all those things. But But my focus, like, my primary focus is these four things.
Okay.
Crude oil is also, like, off late, as I told you, that I'm totally into this bank nifty, because I feel that there's certain noise which is going to disturb your trading pattern if you're into too many things.
Well, here in the U.S., higher yields, which we had up until recently when they started moving sideways to lower, is constructive. The banks, especially if we have yields not inverting, but in fact, widening. So higher interest rates, are they part of this scenario? Have you had a bump up in rates over the last several months? Or you don't pay attention to that? So let's just stick to the chart. So let's get to your other charts, and those yellow circles on there, Karthik, they're not boomy.
No, Boomi is something which I've created to narrow down my work. Like, it tells me like how to be how the things done. Boomi is this. So if it is staying on the green band with the green zone, I expect the market to go up. Whenever it touches up the green band, I feel that the market is going up. When it is there, it is going to retrace back to this level and again keep going up. That's what my red line here is also saying.
So from about 35 to 37 is
right,
what you're looking for.
Right. So, a retrace comes down to 35.1 to 5.8, and then, it might spend some time here, a good some time, it is not going to move around, but there might be certain noise on this red line, this one here at 34,884, and then boom to 36,830, 0.75. That's what I am thinking. Yeah, that's where I'm expecting my game to go.
Okay.
So I'm going to buy on this line once there is certain consolidation in this area. I could see some few candles, like not just kind of sitting on this lines, just not moving anywhere. Then I feel that I should actually long.
Okay. What are those lines called? Are they Keltner channels or?
No, these are just we call it as an absolute lines. We have from the data back. It's more of like support and resistance, but it's in a different way. We have used certain algorithms to make it a bit different and easy. So
you're a coder. You're a coder too. You do all of this coding.
I am not a coder, but I used to code. But now we outsource everything most of the time, and most of the time I'm only making money behind the desk. Okay. And on these gold, crude, all these things, because this has been done now. Whatever the Boomi Maya, this has been done. The code and everything has been done. Right. So and I only look forward and come down here and see where the market is heading and see whether they are in between those lines or is it breaking those lines. Okay. To just make the game a bit easy, and from there I take up the things.
Okay. So let's look at your other. Let's take a look at gold and crude, and if
gold. Yes, I should be having a chart on gold as well. Gold, I'm actually expecting a certain consolidation here at this point. This area. Let me put this as well. It's gonna speak the same, I guess. Yeah, this what. So 1878 is something I'm looking at the bounce, and then I'll be looking at 1901 on this. So
what's the TF you're using here? 1 hour.
It's 1 hour. Yes. Mostly it's 1 hour.
So are most of your trades from the 1 hour?
Most of my trades are here. I just shorted gold here at this area. I mean here, because on the retest, as I told you, I don't actually I always follow the retest pattern. So it just retest and it came exactly to this point. I can understand that, there's no proper buys here because the buy is much away from this point. So, I will short here. So I couldn't short here because if I was into something, but I made my shot at 1900 something, and I was in this game till this point.
Is that star up there, Boomi?
Yeah, it's a star as well. It's an uptrend.
So are you mainly day trading if you're using a 1 hour TF or swing, or do you go to larger time frames to
mostly
swing? And
yes, mostly swing. I mean, like my trade lasts for like a day or two, but I follow my levels. if I see certain potential reversals from anywhere, if I'm in like good profit, then I just wait for these targets to hit and take out, as I have done here, because I could not exit here. I mean, I could not, but it touched my red line here. So, I understood that from here it is going to retrace till at least a good 1916. So I made my exit from here to here, like a $20 move or kind of that.
Okay. All right. And what are you seeing in WTI?
WTI is again, I'm expecting certain bullishness till 70.31. This area, this is where I was supposed to buy, but I missed my buy today. So I'm just waiting for the retrace somewhere at 68.76. Then I'd be looking at 70 straight, and it has to go further to 71.25. That's what I'm expecting in crude oil right now, as of now.
Okay. So what's your self-talk when you miss a trade? What do you say to yourself?
Not mine.
Huh?
Not mine.
Don't mind?
Not
Because
mine.
there's always
not mine.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
think that it's not my trade, and it's not my trade. There's always the market is forever. I mean, there was times I used to wait for a trade for like good 1 month and 2 months as well.
Yeah.
Till that is not a right setup.
That was analysis paralysis, right? Waiting a couple months for a trade. I bet that's when you shorten your TF. I bet you were on longer TFs with that going on.
Right.
Were you?
Right. With me, like the longer TF goes with, sometimes I go with a daily, which I come from my trades mostly on a daily time frame. But as of now, I'm using 1 hour time frame. TF 1 hour is my regular time frame. It has become 1 hour is my regular right now.
Okay. What's the worst drawdown you've had in the last couple of years?
Oh, I had okay. That's my last huge drawdown was back a couple of months back. It was $600,000, somewhere close to. Yeah, that was my large.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did Raksha say about that?
There was a time when I used to lose, because winning and losing is part of this game. I mean, nobody wins forever in this game. There are always hard days in this, and so there was a time when she used to pick up the loss on my face, but now the profit and loss, I think I've made that, it doesn't much affect your inner peace.
Wow, that's really something that a lot of people go fetal when they go through something like that. Do you after something like that, do you ever just take a break, or?
Yeah, I took a break. I took a break of 3-4 days, and I understood where I went wrong, because technically I was right, but psychologically I was not right.
Okay.
So sometimes I believe, I don't know how many in this room do agree with me, but I believe that 95% it's your psychology which lets you in the game. If you're even some,
you have my agreement on that.
So
it's all in our heads.
Right. Because even the most the baddest technical trade, if you have a strong head, you might actually come out with a minimum loss. But even if you are on a right trade, if your psychology is not really good, it's not going well with you, I think you'll come out in a bad way out of it.
Or you come out too soon, because you're so used to losing. The minute you have a profit, I call that first daylight syndrome. So here's a nice testimonial for you while you're on the air, and I know Raksha is watching. Naza Ibrahim Maj, do you know her? Yeah, she found you here.
Yes.
And she said, Boomi is phenomenal. I'm the user. She's the user. Very glad to say it. Thanks, Dale, for bringing Raksha here firstly. That's where she got interested in their algorithm.
A big thanks to Naza. Big thanks. I mean, she's always been in our community here, the Discord community.
Okay, so we're still looking at Nifty. Anything else you want to talk about today?
I think Nifty is it, and maybe I'm looking at the D as well. So
the DAX.
right.
Okay.
So, as of now, this is where the reversal is, and I'm not going to do anything fancy here. I'm just going to sit quiet and make sure that the DE comes down to till this particular point, and then I'm going to go long. Or if from here, if it is falling, I'm going to short it till 620, something like that.
Okay. Well,
So-
if you'd like to right now, you
Mhm.
could show your website so that people know where to find you,
Oh,
Karthik. And I know you have a different handle on Twitter. You have at EchoWise, EchoWise Lab. Is that it?
right. I go by the name EchoWise Labs. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, that's been
Okay.
so.
So you're doing classes online, or you're doing them in person?
Right. My class is it's a master class which I teach certain advanced technical programs, and I only pick up 10 people per batch, and so we are going for the next sixth batch. We are at successful sixth batch now, and so it's in 16th of this June.
Oh, you do it online or live?
No, it's live. It's live. This is
Oh.
this one. It's live. It's going in 9 days. It's 9
So it
days.
has to be, do people fly in from all over the world to take it?
Through
Or
our
is it
webinar.
mainly local people from, like, you guys live where, in London?
No, we are in Hyderabad, but this class live in the sense
Okay.
it's all recording. Of course, I'm in the webinar, but I'm going to be live, so there won't be any recording sessions. So that's what I meant to.
Oh,
say.
I see.
Right,
Okay.
it's going to be on Zoom. So every alternate
Okay.
day, I'll be there.
Okay.
This is
Um,
the program here.
okay. So what do you charge for a course like that?
Oh, that's in a USD. I think that's $535, something like that.
545 for a week?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, this one, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Of course.
all I could say is Raksha's good, and if she learned from you, thank you for being a good teacher.
Right.
And you must have a lot of patience. You need a lot of patience to teach, don't you? Because I do that too. Are you patient with your students, or do you ever say, do I have to repeat this again? Do you ever say that?
No. I make sure that every student in my class learns till the end. I mean, there is no limit for my class, so because I make sure that every student understand the whole class, and only once he says, "Okay, Karthik, now leave me," I leave them.
Okay, now it's saying you're very patient. So,
Thank you, Nazar. Thank you, Nazar.
Well, I really, next time, you know what I want to do? And I was serious yesterday on Raksha Left. I'd love to have you guys on both together.
Wow.
And talk about, because you've accomplished something that probably a lot of people have tried and been able to coexist trying it, and that maybe it had an effect on their marriage relationship, which is more important than a business relationship, right?
Right.
So, I'd like to have you guys on together the next time I bring you guys into the rotation. What do you think? Can you persuade Raksha to do that?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Because she talks more than you do, too. I feel like I'm a dentist a little bit, where I have to pull it out of you. You know what I mean, Karthik?
Yeah, I got it.
Has anyone ever said that to you? Huh? Mum's the word with Karthik, but his P&L, I guess, speaks for itself. So I want to thank you, Karthik, for being here. It's very nice to meet you.
Thank you so much, Dave.
I think you're greatly blessed, not just because you're successful in the market, but you're successful in life. And you guys have a new child, and
Yes.
may pips continue to rain down on you and your family. And thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you so much. And Raksha is here. She might say you a hi. She's just here.
Hello, Raksha.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
How did he do?
I am super awesome.
How did your husband do on this interview? What do you give him a grade?
He is always great for me.
Okay. Oh, you're subjective. All right. Okay. Love is blind. I understand. Okay. You guys are a power couple in my book. So Nice talking to you. And next time it's the dynamic duo together. Have a great week, Karthik and Raksha, and everyone here that, was able to see something that's pretty unusual, pretty special. And that's going to be a wrap. And you guys know how I end every show. You want to do my tagline for me today, Raksha? What is it?
Yes,
Don't
I would try. It's don't count your pips, but the blessings.
don't just count your
Don't
pips.
just count your pips.
Count your blessings.
I think
And
you do in the best way, did.
okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Good hunting the rest of the day.
Thank you.
And we'll see everyone for Turnaround Tuesday. And kiss your baby and say hello to Boomy for me.
Sure, Dale.
All
And
right,
you
everyone.
take care.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, that's a wrap, everyone.
Thank you.
Fun.
Bye. Thanks.
Fun and compelling. Powerful combination. Adios. Adios, everyone.
Adios.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Bye.